my phone. No.
This seafood dish is not only super popular, but is helping restore New York City's water and coastline. Oysters.
Can you eat New York City oysters? Absolutely not. So you cannot eat New York City oysters. New York City water, though it is getting cleaner, is not good.
Don't worry, the oysters we consumed came from certified waterways, not the New York harbor. You wouldn't want to eat anything that comes from the water. It has been polluted for decades thanks to years of industrialization, sewage, and waste dumping. According to the EPA, over 1.3 million pounds of PCBs were dumped into the Hudson, making not only the water extremely hazardous to humans, but completely wiping out all wildlife. Today, oysters are more than just food, but a fantastic filtration system for the water.
So an oyster is a bivalve, and what that means is that it has two valves, and it has two shells, and it has a fleshy body inside. So when you open it up, you'll see all of its, anatomy inside. So an oyster is always going to be closed when it's alive, and it is a filter feeder. And so what that means that it's taking suspended solids that are in the water and bringing it into its body. And they have this very cool structure called the labial palps, which is essentially like a tongue, if you'd imagine. And it has the ability to separate components that it wants to eat from components it doesn't want to eat.
Although oysters were harvested to extinction, organizations like the Billion Oyster Project are at the forefront of restoration efforts. They vow to restore 1 billion oysters back to the New York harbor by 2035. So far, they farmed over 75 million oysters by growing them in specialized labs and planting reefs around New York City.
I'm so excited. Okay. Have that bucket on your way? That would be great. Holy crap. Okay. You good?
They also conduct regular outreach events with the public to get volunteers educated and involved in helping reef installations and oyster cage upkeep.
Reach my hand in there if there's a blue crab.
Currently, one of the Billion Oyster Project's biggest plans to fight coastline erosion is called the Living Breakwaters. This is in collaboration with the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery and the SCAPE design team. Located on the south end of Staten Island, the Living Breakwaters is a climate-adaptive green infrastructure that began being built in August of this year. This installation will have a designated section for oysters to help break up wave impact and filter the water.
When we got this project to implement, it was the SCAPE team who proposed this project. One of the ideas was, not just to try to break the waves and attenuate the waves during a storm and accounting for sea level rise, reversing coastal erosion, but this idea of trying to return the oysters to this particular area to achieve water filtration. And then also when you have oysters in like these reef ridges and stuff that we're building, it encourages other marine habitat as well. We're really trying to bring it back to how it was, probably 35 plus years ago. But that's why we call this project, it's Living Breakwaters. What makes this unique is the materials that we're using and the connection to the marine habitat, and how that also interacts with our world, our climate.
Next time you're eating oysters, make sure to thank them for saving the planet one oyster at a time.